Hello and welcome back to another Data Hub video. Today we'll go through a couple scenarios. One is sharing MagicDraw projects while having syncs between Doors and MagicDraw. Main function of this is to move information from Doors to MagicDraw, save it, go to another project, move that information to Doors, save it, open up a third project, and institute the relationships that are needed in the third project. From there, we'll do another scenario 2, where you're maintaining links from Doors in 2 projects by also maintaining all of those relationships inside of MagicDraw, the third project, once again. All right, for this particular demo, what I have set up here is started a new MagicDraw project. I then connected myself to Data Hub. There's no information. This is a brand new database. I figured it would be best for this particular function. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to go ahead and build things from MagicDraw. So I won't use Doors very often. I have the opportunity, or here is Doors, but I will not. So what I need to do is I need to build a formal module. I need to give it a name, and we'll go ahead and finish that. So I now have sync demo. So what we need to do is we need to create some object nodes. For this particular demo, all we really need are headings. So we'll just name something as a requirement. So we'll build a couple more requirements here. Nothing too special. We'll just give it some names. The number of requirements for this demo doesn't matter, as we've tested this scenario with multiple node sets. I'm just going to make it kind of easy. So now we have something established in Doors, just so you can see what it looks like. You have sync demo here, and it shows up over here. So you have an object heading, you have some text, you have 2 object headings, you have 1 parent-child relationship. So that's what we'll be referring to for project 1. So what we need to do now is use the data syncs over here. So we're going to use copy data and sync. We're going to drag and drop this to MagicDraw, and we'll create what is needed moving forward. So we have no links here. We'll do that in project 3. We'll establish all the links that are needed between elements or different requirements in project 3 itself. So you can see everything came over. You have this nice little S that's attached to the requirement saying that it has a synchronization. Okay, so I'm going to save it on the MagicDraw side and save my project. Well, the most important thing to do here is to do a project share. So how to do that is we go to MagicDraw, and we want to right-click, and go to project usages, and we want to share packages. But we need both, so not just sync. We also need the Data Hub data, which is this top one right here. We want to make sure it matches within that. So we'll add that to this. We want to be able to share both of them because we want to maintain the sync relationships to the next project. And I don't know why I did that, but we're okay. All right, so this is project 1. I'm going to save it one more time just because we have some share data. And now we can keep moving forward. So let's go ahead and start project 2. And we're going to do the same thing, except for this time I'm going to build everything in MagicDraw first and then move it to Doors, but we still need to establish a Doors connection and so on. So I'll do all that first. Tools, Data Hub Explorer. Because this is a new project, it creates a new instance for its connection. So you can't bring things over of certain connections from project to project. Even if I would want to switch projects, it still kicks me out. You'd have to go establish it. You can see I don't have any connections either. So to go through the connection scenario real quick, you go find the connection button, just add data source here, and then you find what you're looking for to implement. I'm using the desktop client. I create it. And you can see my Doors projects, obviously. The only one that we need to worry about is this one, except for at this time we're going to go ahead and just build a second one, but I want to build it from MagicDraw first. So what we need to do is we need to create a package, MD requirements. So what we need to do there is, because it's requirements, let's go ahead and stick with that function. So we'll just call this rec1 for timing issues. Normally what I would do is just open up a requirements diagram or a requirements table and just start building, but we don't need very many. We just need to populate it. Right? So we'll keep the same type of formatting. You know, I can even move this around and change it up. We can have all three of them underneath if we wanted to. So we'll keep it like that. So what we want to do, because this is a formal module, we want this to be a formal module. MagicDraw by default keeps everything to sync as formal modules. So what we'll do is we'll put this under a MagicDraw project as well within scenario 1. So we're still in scenario 1, which is Doors to MagicDraw, new project, back to Doors. Keep maintaining the syncs and then sharing the project. So I'll go ahead and save this now. From File, we'll go ahead. Sorry, I did it again. We want to project usages. We want to be able to share this, and then we want to make sure we add the data source as well, which is the Data Hub stuff. All right, so now we have 2 shares. We're good. So now what we need to do to keep everything established with what's going on. I want to check, make sure my data is good. And then we can go ahead and start project 3. All right, so what project 3 is going to do is it's going to maintain all of the relationships between project 2 to 1 or 1 to 2 or vice versa. And within there, we can go ahead and maintain those, and we'll see all those link relationships being built from Doors. What we need to do is we will establish our connection within Data Hub. We'll just get Data Hub going, but what we'll do is we'll go ahead and import our shares, our usage models as well, because that is very key to the success of this. We do have to bring all those in because we want to make sure, you know, if I had a requirements engineer and a systems engineer, but they're working on 2 different data functions. Project 1 is more for our requirements engineer. Project 2, excuse me, would be for our systems engineer. We need to make sure they communicate, but some people have access to Doors and some don't. So what I'd like to show you is that these don't have syncs on them, right? So it's a new project. So what I'd like to show is once I bring these in, you'll see syncs populate, which is kind of cool. Use my local project. We're going to bring in project 1. We're just going to say always load. At this time, we only need it to be read only, so we're good. If we want, we can do read write. I'm strongly against it. I'm going to hit no because I don't need the auxiliary resources. So you can see that because I brought the Data Hub project 1 over, it also maintained and brought the links over. So you can see the S is populated. So we'll go ahead and bring in project 2. All right, so now our files are there. There we go. Where'd my Data Hub window go? All right, so I'm going to establish my connection. I click on it, we can connect it. Everything should be lighting up like a Christmas tree for our syncs, and there they are. All right, so we still don't have any relationships. We still need to do that. But everything is in doors and everything's ready to go. So the easiest and the quickest way to do this, if we are going to establish relationships, let's do a couple things. First, let's build a package for relationships, and then we're going to go ahead and right-click in relationships, and we're going to build a diagram, a derived root matrix, just for fun. So let's pin data hub because we really don't need it right now. But we do need to establish some rows. So we'll use one for here and one for there. That's wrong. Columns. Sorry. And then we'll go ahead and put some requirements up there. We know we need a requirement there and a requirement there. Refresh. Hey, look, I have requirements. So we'll go ahead and make this really quick and dirty for the demo. Maybe we can do a couple different relationships. So we can go ahead and refresh. We can see that the relationships are not in the packages. They're in the model itself where the relationships are. So we have this going for us. So what we want to do is we want to go ahead and synchronize. And we'll move this data over. So we'll get a window, and it's going to ask us to create a doors link module. So we can go ahead and do that. We're going to go ahead and use doors links, I guess. We'll set this as default so we don't have to do it every single time. We'll just move it all over. Now, because there's 2 projects, it's probably going to have me do it again. So we can go to this. All right, so this is an error that is known while doing this. What it's going to say is there's no data, but I will show you that the links are established. So you can see there's a link here. There's a links here. So what we'll do is to verify our error message we get, we'll go ahead and open our doors. And you can see here with play data, so this was project 1, right? So this project 1 over here. Project 1, play data, everything is here. The links are all, let's go ahead and open this guy up. So we'll right click and we'll go to properties. We'll say links, and you see he has 2 inbound links. If I minimize it in the background, we can move doors over here and we can say, okay, so requirement play data. So that's this guy right here. I'll move it over so we can see play data has 2 inbound links. These are 2 inbound links from project 2, and they're established here. So you can see how that scenario works. It's all maintained inside of MagicDraw itself. So let's try a different scenario. With this one, I'm actually going to create a project 4 because I don't want to mess up my project 2 data. What we'll do is we'll build a project 4. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's save this one first. Now that we have everything going, so let's go ahead and build a project 4. For project 4, what we're going to do is we're going to build the data inside of MagicDraw just for time's sake and push it to doors. And then what we're going to do is in doors we'll establish relationships between this project and another. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to establish our connection. All right, I'm going to build this one in the sandbox because there's nothing in there, and I want to show that it'll link between 2 folders. So two folders, 2 formal modules, different functions. All right, so we need to build a rec1, right? So we'll go down to heading, and we have rec1. All right, so we have rec1 for this. One thing I haven't shown, which I probably should, is we need to establish that some clients want to use the doors ID as the mapping to where you got to get into data hub a little bit more and get into some easy functions. So let me explain what I do. So how to do that. So data hub, and then we go down to schema map manager. I like to say this is like your best friend for Data Hub. And why? Let me just kind of establish that for you. You do it because this is the holy grail of how you want to do things every single time the same way. Now, yes, you can do it from in the tool, but to really get it to be perfect is you either need to remove the default functions or you need to have multiple links that need to be established and you'll get a certain window to pop open. I'm going to show you what that window is. So I'm going to remove default. I'm going to use the same package here, and I'm going to remove default for requirement as well. I'm still going to use requirement. I just want to show you how it's going to work moving forward for this particular project. So I have nothing here, but I have nothing in MagicDraw either. So I need to move that over just really quickly. It should not take long. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and create a link between Rec1, you know, I guess for fun. So this is the window I'm talking about. This is our copy data sync window for this particular one. Now this is you can establish just off the bat. You can change it in the Data Hub Explorer window as well, but I can show how I want this synced. Do I only want to push data from MagicDraw or to MagicDraw? So making doors the MagicDraw master, yada yada yada. So let's go ahead and establish what I want. This stayed from the, let's use that as a default type, and then we're going to go over here and we want to say this is the requirement, and it's down here at the end. Now, if you had custom stereotypes attached to your requirement, they would show up as a secondary requirement and then have the stereotype tagging next to it as well. So we want name ID, but I don't actually want ID. I do. This is how I want the door. Sorry, I want the doors ID for this one, and it should come over. Now my doors ID for that, it's going to be in sandbox. Is 1, so it is problematic. But if I wanted to change that, I can go ahead and do that. Project number. It's probably not going to say I can't do anything, but we can try. Yeah, I need to establish a prefix up front, but you'll see it'll work. Doors ID is 1. So what we need to do is we should have set up that to where it was a particular one. So it would have a prefix, but we do have project 4 here, and we're good to go. So what we want to do now is I want to establish a link. I can't do links from Data Hub, so I do have to go into the doors function. Go ahead and insert some links real quick. We'll go into play data. Link from start. So they're always inbound links from this guy, I guess. All right, so we can turn that off, clear start. Let's go ahead and check this guy real quick. All right, so 3. All right, so each one of those has a link in, a link in. So we need to go back to project 3. And we're going to add, we need to actually go back to project 4 because we need to share it, right? So go ahead and project usages, share package, grab our Data Hub package over here. All right, so we should be sharing. Let's go ahead and go back to project 3. Let's go ahead and import our package. Guess I didn't save. All right, so project 4 is now here. And it has data. Now it's going to come up with an error because we have too many 1s, especially from doors. That's okay. We're going to leave it for time's sake. We're going to establish a different diagram. Let's go ahead and do the same one. We'll just change the relationship types. Relationships 1 for, we'll just relationships P4. So project 4. So we have project 4 here, and then we'll do it with project 1, I believe that's what it was, with requirement, and we should be able to show. Let's get rid of some relationships here. We want the criteria to be, we haven't brought any over yet first, so cancel that. What we need to do is open our Data Hub Explorer, so you can see we got to get the information over first. So right click and connect, can't connect up there. All right, so what I want to do is I think it would be too much to do for all of this. So what I only want to do is I want to sync from here. So let's go ahead and sync node recursively. Yes. All right, so it's going to ask me to establish the type here. Because I'd use derive, we'll go ahead and use derived requirement. What it does is, so Data Hub recognized, set as default, that, guess it doesn't like me. All right, so we know that this is going to fail, that's fine, but we saw it populating with relationships. And you can see, instantaneously, I now have 3 relationships right here in the middle. What's the point of this is to say that all the relationships are all saved in project 3, even though everything else is separate. So I hope you enjoyed the demo of these 2 different scenarios of moving data from DOORS to MagicDraw and back, and maintaining relationships inside of one MagicDraw file while keeping links and linked data inside of DOORS. Hope you enjoyed this. Thank you so much.